Oh, yo, also the stuff that all those little meme videos that
Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go new team, it's the same dream. New Knicks City uniform, they stay clean. I just caught mine off of Fanatics in the garden with my hands in the air, we back at it.
Yeah, we are back, baby. We are in the hizzy. You see it, still Knick Fans Weekly. SKF Weekly is back, baby. I know y'all are all like, oh man, where y'all been? We back, baby. Yeah,
and we're full effect, right? Ron and John are here together.
We are here.
Finally.
Yes. Brother, how are you? How's everything?
Man, I'm good, man. Just, here, just gotten home. My son's practice, doing baseball right now. So just got back recently, scarfed down some food. And now I'm here with my guy. You know what I'm saying? We're here. We're chilling. We're here. We're going to be talking some Knicks. We're going to talk some basketball. We're going to talk about what these finals looking like. I think they're playing right now. And it's probably Boston's up probably right now. I'm not sure what the score is, but we'll tune in. See, I'll keep y'all updated on that. But happy to be back, man. I've been incognito, right? I've been lost in the sauce.
Hey, man, that's okay. We know you out here in these streets. What is it looking like? Boston is up 28-18 in the end of the first quarter. Boston's making it look easy over there, man. I don't know.
They better get this one, because if the Mavs get this one, take it back to Dallas, that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I ain't worried about the Mavs, man. I'm disappointed in them. I thought they was gonna put together a better fight. I'm actually really surprised. I don't get me wrong. I know Boston. I mean, Boston is pretty good. I just expected Dallas to be able to I'm surprised. And that last game was just such a blowout. I don't think that was indicative of much. That was just, they came to play. They were desperate. Boston just said, you know what? Let's not waste our energy. Let's get this next one and get up out of here. So,
yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes today, man. Like I said, I'm not gonna discount, what they could do if they keep it close. They got two of the best closers. So, I think the way the Celtics need to win, they gotta get out to a big lead, and get a blowout win. In order to be victorious today. If they don't, if it comes down to the wire, I think Dallas might pull this one off just because they got two really solid closes.
Well, the only problem, I think, another big issue with Dallas is the fact that Kyrie Irving has been really cold in this series. He's had one good game, but all the other games he's been extremely cold in two of them. And then this one, he's already started off 0 for 3. If you don't get Kyrie going, you're going to have a long night.
No, that's true. No, I agree with that. But also, they're throwing different bodies at him. You know what I mean? It isn't like they're playing them straight up with just, Drew Holiday. He sees a little bit of everybody. So I think he just got to get some open touches, man, and shoot it off the bounce instead of trying to, shoot it off the dribble. Get him a couple of open shots, corner threes. Get them going.
Yeah. I think that team is they're really one more player away from making a lot of noise in the league. Like, just looking at their roster, it feels like they're missing one more scorer that they can depend on. It doesn't have to be a point guard, shooting guard guy, like could be a small forward, power forward, but they're missing one other guy over there. Because I'm just looking at they got Derrick Jones Jr. Don't get me wrong, I like Derrick Jones Jr., but he's not somebody to depend on for buckets. You got Dante Exum out there. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been.
Exum's been solid though. Exum's
he's always good, but you know what I mean. Like, you can't,
No, I get
like
you.
Can't really depend on that. They need one more guy.
What was that kid that we used to play with the Lakers a few years back? He was a shooting guard. He kind of got three names. like a
Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
yes, he would look nice on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like that. I mean, he would look nice with the Knicks too. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind a player like that. But yeah, he's a guy who can give him some buckets. Who did he play for this year? I don't recall.
Denver.
Who was he with? Oh, he was with Denver. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Returning to where it all started for him.
Did he play though? Like, or was he injured?
No, he played.
He played? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear much of him in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's been kind of well, I mean, Denver has been a little different this year. All year it's been a little different with them. And then, in the playoffs, it's just not quite the Denver you, I guess, have grown accustomed to the past 2 years. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. Appreciate everybody tuned in on Facebook, X, or YouTube. Thank you for rocking with us. Shout out to Walter Blackman in the building. Walter, what's good? John Talento is here. Salute, John. Appreciate you. Walter said, good evening, Ron and panels. John Talento says, salute, Ron. I'm always watching on the replay. Great show, my friend LGK. Oh, let's go, Knicks. That's right. Jarvis LaFleur is in the building. Salute, Ron and John. Shout out to Jose. Yeah, Jose. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. RD Barn is in the building. Salute. Space Ghost is in the building. He says, salute, Ron and John. Coach Cy in the building. Still Knick fans, John in the building. Look at that. See, still Knick fans, Ron. My guy. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And those who may be viewing, please smash that like button if you're on YouTube. And if you're on X viewing and you want to come over, smash the like button, go back. We're not going to fault you. It's all good.
Yeah, it's all good in the hood.
Shout out to my guy.
Either way.
D-Block in the building. Oh, yeah, and happy Father's Day to everybody after the fact. I said it before because we had the show on Saturday. So, anybody out there we missed, happy Father's Day to you guys as well. Obviously, happy Father's Day to my brother at arms here, John. You know how it is. Speaking of Father's Day, what was there anything that you got for Father's Day that were you treated nicely?
I got tournaments to go to.
Yeah, work, Dad, work. That's right. So this is why you get this day to put that time in.
That's what they gave me for. I mean, it was a good time though. We chilled, had family come over. We barbecued a little bit. Stood poolside, chilled out, relaxed.
Yes, nice.
Try to do the best that I can, what we have. But it was a good time, man. It was chill. But early morning tournaments, I think I started my day off like at 8 a.m, and then we ended tournaments ended around like 12:30. Something like that.
I hear that.
Yeah, man. So by 9 p.m. I was shot. I was done.
Oh no, I bet you was.
Shout
out to Alla Wise, man. Thank you for the happy Father's Day. Oh man,
how'd you spend it?
Well, and sorry to hear that, John. I'm sure he must have been a really big piece of your life, and sorry that he's not here for you. But you know what? He always lives on, right in your heart, brother. Right in your heart. I basically didn't do anything. I chilled. I relaxed. I just, I went on a walk, talked with the boy. We are out here because he's finished with college for this semester. So he's about to look for a summer job, kind of doing that stuff, working, doing my dad stuff because that's what I got to do too, right? Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But we're probably going to do something on Wednesday because I'm off due to Juneteenth. So probably go watch a movie, maybe Bad Boys 2. I mean Bad Boys 4, sorry.
I keep hearing that's a good one. I keep hearing it's a good one.
John, you know what? It's one thing if one person tells you it's good. Everybody who's seen that movie has said it's good. So I'm like, oh, what the hell did they do this time? I'm like, this is crazy.
I seen the behind the scenes of it. And they were showing these new cameras that they were using.
Oh, yeah. I
was like, yo, that's wow. That was like that first player angle. I was like, that's what's up. First shooter type of camera that we're using. So that was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I was watching that. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty thirsty. Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
What am I drinking out of? That's right. A still Nick fans cup. You see it? Yeah.
I see you. Yeah, see, mine's in back order.
Yeah. No, that's okay. It'll get there.
You know, it's too many people all at once, you know, purchasing from that same site. I can't get my cup anytime soon. It's delayed.
It's okay.
You know,
it's all
that's
right.
a good thing, though, right? It's
a good thing.
No, good thing to be delayed.
There's movement. There's movement.
That's what's up. I like that.
D-Block said he saw it on Saturday. It's a very good movie. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. I don't know what they did this time. It's weird because we haven't seen, and this is deviating from the show, guys, but I just wanted to throw that out there, especially us who are older and we've had the generation of living life and going to the movies. That was a big thing. Like now it's kind of like an afterthought. People don't really go to the movies because the movies haven't even been blockbuster type. But it's nice to see a movie like Bad Boys give you that blockbuster feel. And also, you know, you got the Deadpool movie coming in a month or so. So there's some stuff on the horizon.
That one. We're
definitely catching that one.
Definitely catching that one.
Yes, sir.
Get the group together. Get the homies together.
Facts. Deron Wayne's in the building. He's a happy Father's Day. Ron and John, all others in the chat. Salute to you, my brother. Same to you. So real quick, I touched on it a little bit on Saturday, but your thoughts. I mean, it may not make a big deal, but someone said something in the chat, and I want to get your thoughts on that too. Yeah. What's your thoughts on the Knicks bringing in Mo Cheeks as a assistant coach?
Wait. Before we go there, or before I delay this any further, so my 11-year-old put together this little, concoction recently, and she named it Quan, right? So latest New York Knicks player, Quan. He's going to play center for the New York Knicks. And the only reason why she called him Quan is because he pretty much dribbles in Quan direction. This was her joke, by the way. So shout out to my daughter, Jamie, for hooking us up and making this little mascot for me. I appreciate her. I wish I could just put it in place somewhere. Got to figure out a way to, staple it on here somewhere. But it's our guy, Quan.
Man. That's funny. It reminds me of a movie that has nothing to do with anything. There's some fake, spoof horror movie called One of the Dead. And it's because there's a real movie called Something of the Dead. I forgot what it's called, but whatever. But there's a spoof called
Dawn of the Dead, right?
And Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But there's one called Juan of the Dead. It's really funny, man. He's Latin. He's got a thick accent. It's hilarious.
This is Quan.
That's Quan. Okay.
Quan.
All right.
Quan.
All right.
Funny.
Well, okay.
Anyways.
Well, so now that we got Quan on our team here, what's your thoughts on Mo Cheeks?
That's a weird one for me because I've heard players frown upon Mo Cheeks as a coach. Who was it that was talking about Mo Cheeks in a recent podcast? Had said something about him playing under Mo Cheeks, and Mo Cheeks was like playing him, like messing with him, saying not giving him time of day. I forget what it was. I may have to go back and research who that was, but he pretty much dislikes Mo Cheeks as a player. As a coach. And Willie, was it Sebastian Telfair? Was it Sebastian? It may have been, but it was somebody that I recall talking about Mo Cheeks, not being a professional coach. And I guess it was Sebastian Telfair. But it was surprising to hear, but not surprising because seemed like, he's probably a no-nonsense guy. And, it all depends. I guess, I'm sure Leon Rose and Coach Tibbs have talked about it before making, the hire. I'm also assuming because Mo Cheeks was a defensive type player, in his day. And he could talk, about, that side of the ball more so than on the scoring side. Maybe as he was brought in to help Deuce sort of develop a little bit further in his game. So I'm not mad, and I'm sort of in between. I'm like, I have to trust and believe that Tibbs and the front office, on the same page with this hire, and they got a specific thing that they want him to be in charge of. So
right.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Looks like Matt Barnes also had a big problem with Mo Cheeks.
I think it may have been Matt Barnes was the one I think I seen. I think it was a Matt Barnes conversation.
Yeah, I can't.
But it could have been Sebastian as well. Like I just can't. I remember seeing some, a player talk about him.
Yeah, well, Matt Barnes was a little off the rocker too, though, because apparently he said that he was taking some shots, and Mo Cheeks didn't like the type of shots that Matt Barnes was taking, and he stopped practice and kind of disrespected him in front of everybody. And then there was another incident where it happened, and Matt Barnes was ready to charge Mo Cheeks. Matt Barnes is wild.
No, I think that was the one I was watching. I think I think I was the interview that I was listening to. But again, if Mo could bring something to the table, I see it more so as the defensive type of skilled player. Maybe that's the conversation than him, and maybe he could also help Brunson get a little better. Because Brunson does struggle on the defensive side, so maybe that's the reason for bringing someone in like that. But again, who has left is the question.
Nobody.
They had an open spot.
Whether they did or I don't know how that works as far as how many coaches you can have, but apparently they just added him and didn't let anybody go. And so my concern wasn't necessarily so much who would be let go, but everybody right now has their roles. So what would he be doing here? And so to your point, maybe just helping with some of the guards. But then somebody in the chat had said Mo's actually been pretty good at being a developmental coach. And the Knicks do have draft picks this time around that they might use. And so he might be a person that helps develop some of them draft picks.
Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me none. I just knowing currently what we've done in most recently with the pickups that we've had, I think they're, the coach, Tibbs and Leon and team are, they're sort of on the same page, and I think they know what they need, and they're gonna bring that in. You know what I mean? They're gonna bring those type of people in, and then for whatever reason, if it don't work out, they'll move on from them cordially, and it'll be quiet. I don't think anything will be, out of the ordinary. So
yeah,
more power to Mo Cheeks, man, getting the opportunity.
Yeah. And the other thing that I had saw Saturday that I brought up was apparently he, because of the struggles or non-success of the team that he was on, he was actually going to get demoted. He was going to take a demotion there. So the Knicks and their relationships might be throwing him a bone. We'll bring you on. You can kind of find your way. No particular role, but we want to see you in the league, and we'll you can be here with us. So I think that's kind of maybe part of it too. We'll see. Shout out to Building Blocks, by the way. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I mean, like I said, he was mostly known for his defense, and I think they stated he was finished his career with a really good assist person as well. But again, he played a point guard well. You know what I mean, like that position, and it's a position that we value here in New York. So, Deuce, his maturity, coming into the next season, it's like, what's next for him? You know what I mean? So I'm looking for him to step up and be that 6th, 7th man off the bench,
Yeah. Just a heads up right now, it's 46-31 Boston up in the second quarter with about 6 minutes or so left. So, Boston is definitely trying to stick it to them. Pause. And Porzingis is back tonight. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the man. That's They got to keep a lead, man. In order to close this game out, they got to keep a lead. And like I said, if they get a blowout win, then that's the way they need to win it, because they don't want to. I don't trust Boston in a close game coming down the fourth.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. I hear you. Okay, so apparently, I don't know what to believe, bro. Apparently, the Knicks are going to be, I guess you call it an option in basketball, whatever. They're going to possibly pick up Bogdanovic's, current year, next year. And I think he's due to make about 19 million. So apparently they're saying, at least reports came out earlier today, that they are looking to pick that up, because obviously, so it's interesting. The reason why I bring it up is because people have been talking about the Knicks salary cap issues and the fact that they might have to buy Bogdanovic out. Like, I think you got to pay $2 million to buy him out because they need the cap flexibility. Mm-hmm. However, the only reason to opt into his next year and take on that 19 million would be if you're looking to trade him.
Right.
So that is pretty interesting. Well, we don't know what they're trying to say by that. So how do you feel about that? If do you think that if that's the case, do you think that would be the only reason why they would be, picking up that 19 million if they do it?
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly the reason why they're picking up that 19, because I think they have an idea of who they're looking at, and what the money looks like, and who's going to be a part of that trade package. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't see him picking up that kind of salary just for the sake of keeping him on this team, because as we all know, he's an aging player, solid player, but an aging one. And although you want to surround yourself with good shooters, it wasn't like he was like lights out from the 3-point line. Not with us, not in this offense. You know what I mean? So actually, he struggled when he came, to us. So late in the season. So I think it's really just about like who they are fixated on, knowing the money and how to match that money, that they're going to make that move. So
it's interesting, right? Because I'm seeing a lot of things, it's so weird how fickle the news is and how everything changes. I'm seeing a lot of things recently, different articles and different little blurbs saying that the Knicks are out on Donovan Mitchell. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I still believe that that's a player that they are connected to some degree. Now, will they go in a different direction? Absolutely. If the asking price is too high, if Donovan isn't willing to, showcase that he does want to come to New York and is willing, there was reports saying that he is willing to stick around with the Cavs and see it through. Because I really don't think that they're going to wait another year for Donovan. So if his plans is to stick it through with the team for another year until his free agency, see where it goes on free agent market, I think we lose out. I think, at that point we'll move on. Now, if he's openly saying that, he's going to opt out of free agency and then forces the Cavs' hand to move him now, then I see the Knicks being interested. But if that's not the case, we'll see.
Do you think that maybe that's part of the reason why? Because you just said something about it. Do you think that's part of the reason why maybe the Knicks are just like, listen, we want you on the team, but we got to trade to get you, and that means that they have to want to trade with us, and we need you to do your part.
I think it has to be. It has to be, because the reality is that coming into that original sort of trading or bidding offer that was for Donovan early on when he was in Utah. You know, it seemed like, Danny Ainge wanted to, stick it to the Knicks, and get a ridiculous amount back. And I think the Knicks are looking to leverage Donovan being from New York and wanting to play for New York to their favor and not having to pay, a serious tax on, getting them over here. And I think that Cavs themselves are they're pretty much playing their hand as they see it. You know what I mean? If Donovan isn't going to be openly saying he's interested in playing for New York, and he's, you know what I mean, like he's thinking about getting into the free agent market and won't be signing back with the Cavs, then they're going to hold on to that until, he does that. If he plays it professional, then he's going to lose his opportunity to play for New York. But that's going to be on him.
Right.
And maybe he doesn't want to be second fiddle. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe he wants to be the man, and knowing him knowing that this is Brunson's team and will be Brunson's team regardless of whether he comes to New York or not. Maybe that's part of the reasoning. Maybe he wants to be that guy.
I would hope not. I would hope not at this point, because he really hasn't shown that he's that guy. Like early on in his career, there was a thought that he might be that guy, but since then, going over to New Orleans, he hasn't looked like that guy. He's had plenty of opportunities to be the man, even with Zion Williamson there, and Zion Williamson's rarely ever there. So, you could definitely say that's Brandon Ingram's team. And
I'm not talking about Brandon. I'm talking about Donovan Mitchell.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. Yeah. Oh. I don't know. Why am I thinking about that? I'm tripping.
That was your next question.
That was my next question. See how I intertwined them? Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. That actually is a good point. He might want to be the man. You're right.
Right.
I don't know.
Because he has it. He has that right now. Like Garland isn't the best guy on that squad. He still holds the best. He's the I give props to Melo and 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, right? He talks about the white hat, right? He is the white hat when it comes to Cleveland. He is that guy. So, you know what I mean? If he wants to leave that, it seems like the only thing that will give him cause from concern would be if I come to New York, he's playing. I wouldn't say he's playing Robin, right, to Batman. I think he could be Superman to Batman, right? Like, or you know what I mean? Like he has to play another role, but it's 1A, 1B, 1A, 1A, -8, whatever, however you want to see it. I think they're both capable to be superstars here in New York, but he may not want to be, questioned as a number 2 or number 1, you know what I mean? A number 2 guy. Maybe.
That's fair. I mean, we'll see what happens. I like the fact. I mean, it's tough, but I do like the fact that sometimes the Knicks don't play their hand, and you don't necessarily know what they're doing. So I like to be surprised in its own right. So who knows what who they're looking at, what they're really trying to target. Sometimes with the Knicks, there might be some posturing, little smoke screen action, just trying to throw something out there to throw you off of what they're really looking for. Because like I said, we've seen it happen. There was nothing really going on to be posturing, but we had no idea that the OG Anunoby trade was going to go down until it went down. It's true. You just never know. You never know. I tell you what I keep hearing, and I know Knicks fans aren't that happy about it. There's some that are, because the guy is such a good player, but then there's others that really can't stand the idea, and that's Karl Anthony Towns. Right. The cat talks have been heating up. How do you feel about Karl Anthony Towns? I feel like we've talked about this multiple times in the past, but we're in a new time now. So how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting ask. If you're not re-signing Hartenstein and you're gonna let Mitch ride, ride out basically his contract, then you're gonna need a center who can cover those bases. You know what I mean? Who could be a defensive player. I know Cat isn't the most defensive, center in the league, but he can play some defense. What he does do that we don't have is, a player of that magnitude who can stretch the floor. The question is does he really want to play center, or does he want to be a power forward? It seems like he's iffy about wanting to go back to the center position. It seems like he's comfortable playing power forward. And it looks like that's where he wants to go, and that's where he wants to be. So if that's where he wants to be, I'm not moving from Randle. I'm keeping Randle over him. And I know there's arguments to be said about Cat shooting a better percentage, being a better fit. I get that, but I just like what Randle gives us more as an intangible. Plus, I like that Randle can be aggressive, you know what I mean, and play aggressively, and people won't question his heart. You know what I mean? Where when you look at Anthony Towns, he's questionable when it comes to like how fearless he can be. It seems like he's a shell of himself when the pressure's on. You know what I mean? And I like a guy who's gonna, even if he's shooting it poorly or whatever, who's still gonna give you that you know what I mean, that grit. And I think Randle still gives you that grit.
But those numbers, guys, the numbers.
Yeah.
Those Karl Anthony Towns numbers.
Yeah, those numbers are crazy. They're good. They're solid numbers. That's what I mean. They're solid numbers. But look at those points and rebounds, and even look at the assist. I think Randle gives you more in those three categories. He don't shoot it field goal percentage wise the same, But
very true. It's
and
very
the free
true.
throws, he ain't gonna shoot it up that high. But
those free throws is ridiculous. It's crazy though, because Randle basically as far as the other categories, the top categories that John just mentioned, Randle's probably as good, if not better, in all of those categories. And even when it comes to blocks and stuff, they're probably in the same boat when it comes to that too, which is actually not great considering Karl Anthony Towns is taller, with a longer wingspan.
It's almost like getting the same guy who could one guy could shoot better on the free throw line, the other guy gives you a little bit more points and rebounds. I think more importantly is what you get like in the locker room. You know what you get with Randle in the locker room. He's a team guy. You know what I mean? Like every player loves to play with Randle. Never had anybody come out against playing with Randle. I think fans don't like him because we see some of the lack of awareness, or a couple of things that he's done in the past with the thumbs down and focused on the too much on the referees and not the game, and wanting him to get back on defense. We get those, but you get that with a lot of players in the NBA. You know what I mean? Because a lot of players in the NBA have been the 1As for a very long time, and they feel like they are owed at least a compensation. You know what I mean? I think a lot of players feel like, I got to this point. I'm deserving of this. Almost like I just almost like, anyone who's a star feels like they have the privilege of getting that one-on-one, with the referee. And sometimes it backfires. I think a lot of the times it backfires on players, thinking that they need to have that conversation with the refs instead of waiting until a play is out over maybe a timeout and then having that conversation. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm cool with Cat. I think I'll stay. If I had the choice, I would stick with Randle, bro.
I hear you. I would too. I agree with that. It's like a Cat is just in that weird spot for me. Like if we didn't have Randle, okay, then maybe I say let's get Cat. But I don't want Cat over Randle, my opinion. Right. So I'm cool with what Randle brings. And
not to
yes,
mention, yes, that contract.
the
Best of worst.
the
That
contract too.
contract is
Yeah.
crazy.
So Building Block said Cat's numbers are great, and he does play well head to head versus Embiid. They have had good battles. Like he gets up to play Embiid, because they're very similar in the style of big man being able to shoot from all areas on the court and stuff like that. So I can see how that's a matchup that he looks forward to. Best of the hell no, the cat, he's soft. Yeah, and here's the thing. The other thing, Coach, is that Cat has always put up better numbers, but that's the thing. He has in the past. But recently, Cat, since he's come back from that injury that kept him out 40 to 50 plus games 2 seasons ago, he just hasn't been that same dominant Cat that he used to be. He's still incredibly good at his percentages, like efficiency is incredible. But just notice like that level of dominance is not quite there the way it was before. Of course, I'm talking a lot about it because I also understand that, Anthony Edwards is there now and he's taking shots away from Cat. I get it, but it seems something seems different to me.
But also, Cat has also openly and willingly given this Wolves team to Edwards, saying you're our number one guy. So I totally get that, and I think that selfishness is great to have when you're building a team, and I get that. But I think Randall himself has also stated that this is Brunson's team, and wherever he's called him the head of snake, right? Like he says, we go where he goes. So he's openly said that. And I think what I remember, and I sort of when players talk about someone's mental, you know what I mean? Just like players that are playing in the game alongside you, look at Cat. They look at Cat as someone who is a soft type player. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't fear Cat. Cat can put up numbers and could, you know what I mean? Like legit, he's an all-star type caliber player. But it's something to be said when a Jimmy Butler, pulls your card. What's that guard that was out there talking about him too recently? That like there's a couple of players have pulled his card, you know what I mean? And I think that's the one thing that you're not going to see another player try to pull Julius Randle card. Like he's not having it, even if they are better than him. You know what I mean? Like for instance, that one game Zion bullied Randle like this past season, right? Early in the season, he bullied him. I'm sure Randle wants a get back game because Randle was coming off an injury. I'm positive that Randle wants a get back game. You know what I mean? Can he get one? Can he do something with against Zion? Who knows? But I'm sure he's salivating for one.
Yeah, I mean that's true. That's fair. That makes sense. And you know how Randall is. Definitely doesn't want to be showing up by people. Right. I could see that as being the case. Just a quick update, guys. It's 67-46. Boston is up by 21 at the half.
Finish him.
You know what I mean? So and once again, there's nobody who's going to question Karl Anthony Towns' efficiency in comparison to
skill-wise. He's got a lot of
incredible. Talent. It's nuts. But just the numbers itself, once again, let me put these up and I'll just read Randall's numbers. Just a comparison. Sometimes we don't see it. We don't think about it. So once again, Karl Anthony Towns, 21.8 points, 8.3 rebounds, 3 assists a game, 0.7 steals, 0.7 blocks. I'm not going to get into those bottom numbers because those are ridiculous. He wins that hands down.
Yeah.
Julius Randle this season averaged 24 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, and 5 assists. And we know he was out since January, but he still played 46 games. It's not like it was like a couple games. He had a good amount of games. That's like half a season, more than half a season. Oh, that's all I was going to get to. Like the
Yeah,
blocks and steals, that's not his forte. But the imagine that the fact that he had 24 points per game and 9.2 rebounds and 5 assists. And then to go to my point that I mentioned earlier, that Cat maybe has, given more opportunities and more shots to Anthony Edwards. But even that, he would be the second option on the team. And Julius Randle is the second option on the Knicks. And Jalen Brunson takes way more shots and scores way more points. So when you kind of think about it, there really is no big excuse for why Karl Anthony Towns' points have dipped so much. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I know this is almost impossible for it to happen, but to be honest, he would look good with Randle on this team. Like if Randle was still on the team, and let's say you moved away from a different player, although you wouldn't be able to move away. Let's just say OG doesn't resign. Let's just say that. Let's say OG goes back to the Raptors, because there's been rumors about that happening as well, and really putting one under our noses, right? And against Leon Rose and what they've done with the whole what was the lawsuit or whatever the case is. So let's just say OG was in the plans all along to re-sign with the Raptors.
Right.
Free up some money. Then look to try to, bring Cat over to play alongside Brunson and Randle. That would look nice. You know what I mean? Especially if you're not bringing back, the two centers that I just talked about, Hartenstein and, and Mitchell Robinson, if you're planning for that to go away. But, again, the numbers are going to be tough to make money-wise. Like, that's going to be hard to put together because his contract. So, it's top-heavy, right? Like, I think next year he's going to be making an abundance of money in this next couple of years. I think his scale up, right? If I'm not mistaken, like his contract.
Yeah, his scales up. Yeah.
At the end of it, right? So that's tough.
So that would be crazy, and unfortunately, most likely, it's there's no way that you could get him in here without giving up Randle,
right?
And probably Mitchell Robinson, and probably Dante DiVincenzo. Like, it would be bad.
Yeah, it seems you'll be giving up a lot just for a guy who's not gonna bring it. He brings it stat wise, but like the mentality is not there. Anthony Edwards has to tell you you're a dynamic player. If you rebound the ball, like, come on, son.
Yeah, come on.
You should already be doing. Like, you should be dominating. So that's the one thing. If you got a young buck telling you that.
See what I'm saying, guys? This is why it's Ron and John, still Knicks fans, because when I'm thinking it, he's already.
You was thinking about it.
That's what I'm saying, right? Man. Like, no bueno, B, no bueno. Shout out to Joe. Oh, well, hold on. I got you, Jarvis. 1 second. Shout out to my guy Michael A. Rodriguez on Facebook.
Salute.
He said during the game, y'all some bad MFs. That's right. We don't care.
We care nothing about the Celtics game.
It is what it is. Craig is in the building. Salute, Craig. What's good? Appreciate you, bro. So Jarvis said, Ron and John, I don't think Randle is getting traded. I don't think so. I think he is here to stay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think he is here to stay. He loves being here. And
what's his season now? This is how many years? 8? How many years has he been with the Knicks?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5th year with the Knicks.
5th year with the Knicks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. His 10th
10 years
season
in the league. 10th in the league. And wow. 5th year with the Knicks. So he's played here longer than he's played anywhere.
Yep.
So that's key.
Yeah.
Building a legacy. His son loves it out in New York. He's made friends. His wife doesn't seem like she's, unhappy here. So, great. I want Randle to stay, man. I want to build with Randle. I think Randle gives us something, that a couple of intangibles. You know what I mean? So
he's a good teammate and a good player, and he's willing to play second fiddle to Jalen Brunson, which is what he needs to do.
Right.
He
he knows his place on this team. Like he's accepted it. I think he's accepted his role on this team as a second option. And if they were to bring a player like a Spider, who will be as dynamic as a Brunson, I think he'll be willing to take a backseat to that. Now, he understands as everyone in his 10th year in the league, he understands the business side of the NBA. You know what I mean? So he puts in the work. He's a guy who puts in the work in the offseason, is always in tip-top shape and can provide some muscle, So his place is on the injury list now, but hasn't. He doesn't. His history of injuries, though, have the ones that have plagued him have been kind of flukish. You know what I mean? Like, because he wasn't injured when he played with the Pelicans, like not severely.
Yeah. The ankle injury was the first real injury he sustained in the NBA since his rookie year when he,
broke his leg,
blew out his and then now this falling on, the shoulder thing. It was ACL.
Was it his leg? It was his leg, right?
No, I think it was his leg. It's like a knee or something. I don't know. It was bad. I remember it happened. Yeah. I saw it. I just can't remember exactly what happened. I remember it was game 1 of the season. That was horrible.
Right.
Jarvis says, Ron and John, believe it's safe to say that Donovan Mitchell won't be coming to the Knicks either. I mean, and listen, you just never know, man. You never know what they're doing. You never know. Like I said, the Knicks may be like, we're not going to keep making you our high priority, knowing that Cleveland is like, oh, the Knicks want Donovan Mitchell so bad. We're just going to up the ante. They're going to have to give us a boatload of, you know what I mean? Knicks are probably like, all right, let's look at other people. We chill over here. They probably do want Donovan, but don't want to drive the price up even more with Cleveland. So we'll see.
Yep.
Shout out to D-Ras in the building. Salute. Dallas in 7.
Yep.
What were you saying, John?
Outside of Donovan, you brought up Ingram. Like, is there conversations around that guy too?
Okay, so here's the thing.
I haven't heard of.
Shout out to Charlie Solomon. Appreciate you. Salute to the chat. He says, if you guys could get anyone, who would you go after? Okay, that's a good question. Let me star that and we'll come back to it, Charlie. Thank you for the question and good to see you in the chat. I don't think I remember seeing you in the chat before. Appreciate you. Nick Jr. 79. It was his leg. Okay, appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being here. The Man Cave is in the building. He said, what good, fellas? Salute to the almighty panel and chat. Good to see you, bro. All right, so let's get into this Brandon Ingram stuff real quick. So here's the thing. Apparently, now, this one where there's smoke, there's fire, they actually may be thinking about this. Because if you guys remember, I saw the picture today. It kind of reminded me. I forgot. At one point, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, and Brandon Ingram were on the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Josh Hart, Julius Randle, and Brandon Ingram were on the Pelicans.
Right.
So they're saying at one point, and you get where it's going. They wouldn't mind playing with Brandon Ingram again. Right. So it's kind of interesting. And if you guys know, like we already talked about Cat, but like the point of talking about Cat is that around the league, people think that Minnesota is ready to move on from Cat. Around the league, people think that the Pelicans are ready to move on from Brandon Ingram. And so the thing about Brandon Ingram, he does fit some needs that this Knicks team
a lot
has.
of needs.
Yeah. So I'm always iffy about him only because of his health.
Right.
I don't care that he's not the 1A guy because he used to be projected to be the 1A guy. To me, he's not. He just shown me he's not that guy. What I saw in the Olympics showed it to me. And what I've seen with the Pelicans, he hasn't stepped up in that way. But he's good the way he is if he could just stay healthy. What were you going to say?
Is it that the Pelicans aren't willing to like pay him a max contract or something like that? Like, what would be their reasoning for not signing him? Because he's been their guy. Like, because Zion's been injured or DFA because of weight. You know what I mean? Like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's the guy who, if any, even though you probably can't get nothing for him, I think that's probably why too. Like they probably could get the most for Ingram at this point in time in their careers.
Yeah, And you actually you're bringing up some good stuff because he's got another year left on his contract, 2024-25, right?
Yeah, he's up at the same time as Brunson and Randall as well, right?
Right. So he's scheduled, like currently he's scheduled to make this year 36 million, which is a very favorable contract for an organization getting a guy like a Brandon Ingram. However, you know that technically, because of tenure and time in the league and the type of player he is, he's scheduled for a bigger payday. So as a New Orleans Pelicans team, you know he's a guy that has an injury history. You also know that he's a guy that you haven't necessarily done anything spectacular with and haven't gone to the next level. So do you feel comfortable as an organization investing even more money in him and not knowing if he's going to get you to the next level? Like, so this year wasn't that bad, right? This year he played 64 games. But last year he played 45 games. The year before that, 55. And then he had 2 years of 61, 62. So, I mean, he's not as bad as it might have looked like he was before, because early he played 40 games. He played 52 games, 59 games. So it was kind of in that 50 range. So this wasn't that bad. I mean, because now in today's NBA, let me tell you something. When you can get 60 games out of a guy, I'm like, that's pretty good. Right. I don't know these days. Everybody gets hurt. But let's look at his numbers. Let's see how his numbers translate to this Knicks team, and if that's something that we think could help them. Where's my guy, B.I.?
The only question that I would have again on, like, I mean, he's not a 2 guard. He's definitely a 3. You know what I mean? I don't think he has this. I don't know if he could transition to the 2, to be honest with you. He's like 6'9", right? Long wingspan.
They got him as 6'8", but yeah, he's got that long wingspan, the linky body.
Right. You know what I mean? Like he's, I don't know. I mean, I would say contingency if in case you can't re-sign OG, if OG isn't willing to re-sign with us, because again, it depends on if OG wants a max dollar amount as well. To be honest with you, I don't really want to pay either one of them max money because I don't think they're deserving of it because of the amount of games they play per season. You know what I mean? Injury history, I'm not giving those guys max dollars. But I'll be willing to do some, added incentives in a contract. You know what I mean? Like if you play over 60 games, then, you add a little extra on that, on that contract. But, you can't go max on those guys. You got to go max anyway on Brunson, to be honest with you. Like the reality is that in 2 years, Brunson's up. 2024, 25, he's up, right? He could take the extension, which he's probably not because he's already saying out loud that I don't know what you're talking about, right? Josh brought it up multiple times on the podcast, and and he's like, and then I think he was on an interview with the young lady from Bleacher Report. I forget her name, and she brought it up, and he says, I don't know what you're talking about.
Was it Taylor Rooks?
Taylor Rooks, yeah. That's her. You know what I mean? And he's, again, openly said, I don't know what he's talking about. So he's obviously playing the cards that are being dealt. Now, he may take the option if the Knicks could bring a quality star player here. Who is that quality star player that he would be willing to take that pay cut? Because the reality is that if he holds out, his pay is going to be that much larger because of the CBA, right? So
it looks a little awkward, right? It looks a little weird, but there are teams that do play really big lineups at times. Orlando's one of those teams that, depending on the rotations, they could have a lineup where everybody out there is 6'6" or taller. So
it's nice if he can move his feet, though. He's not the most defensive type player. You know what I mean? Like it looks awkward. Even if you were to put OG on the best offensive player, he's a liability on the kick out. He doesn't move his feet well. You know what I mean? he's constantly getting beat off the dribble. So,
Yeah, Nick Jr. says Bridges, but Bridges is more of a really more defensive active type of player.
Right.
So he fits the slot a little better.
Right.
Because two guards, if Brandon Ingram's gonna have to play two guards, they're gonna be moving. So he's gonna have to.
D-Rod's is hilarious. Too many chicken fried rice.
Too many chicken fried rice players.
That was my go-to. That was the best lunch to get right before a game.
Yeah, well, don't blame me, Quality. Oh no, sorry. No, sorry. All right, so this is Brandon Ingram's numbers: 20.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 0.8 steals, 0.6 blocks, 49% from the field, which is a really nice number for a big that shoots. For a big that is low post type player, you want that number to be higher, but he's a guy who stretches the floor. So that's pretty good. 35.5 from the three, it's average, so it is what it is. And 80% from the free throw line. Not too bad.
Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to shoot it at volume from the three either. That's the one thing. Is like you really, with this current team, you really need a guy who could really knock it down on a regular basis from the 3-point line. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because those are the shots you're mostly gonna get. And then you're gonna get that drive type.
The one thing I do like about his game, and I hear you, I agree with that.
He could get it. He could get it.
His mid range is.
Yeah. Oh no, he's a DeRozan type player, Kobe-esque. You know what I mean? Where he could go get he could get a bucket. He could definitely get a bucket. You move everybody off to the side, he gonna get you a bucket. It's the other side of it that is sort of lackluster for me. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean, I don't know if he always looks smoked out to me, and I
always feel the same way.
You know what I mean?
But is he somebody that the Knicks can get without giving too much up for in comparison to some of these other guys? You think they would have to give up a good amount to get him, right?
Just because he's their main guy, like he's been their main all-star player, like he's been the white hat there. Even though Zion is the white hat because they paid him all the money, he hasn't played enough games to be that number one guy. You know what I mean? Even though he played like a number one right before he got hurt, but it's been Ingram for the last few years.
That's a good point. That is a good point. So, I mean, not this point. Not that this point is not good, Charlie. Right. You have another point that I'm going to point to. But so he said on the Knicks, he would have a better role. He doesn't have to be the man. He could be a third or fourth guy, which is true, which is great. And his ability to get his own shot whenever he wants to is so pivotal in freeing up everybody else on the court. Like Jalen Brunson would have a field day out there because if you try to double team him, you kick it to Brandon Ingram, and no one can really play him. Like no one can really stop him from getting his one-on-one look, right?
Right.
So that part is good. And on the flip side, the defensive side, that might be an issue. But that's something they got to think about. And to your other point, though, the Knicks need bigger players. Look at Boston right now.
Yeah, that's a true point.
It's interesting.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to it. I wouldn't say no to it. Like if they had a way of getting them here at a decent contract, not giving up so much, but I really just don't see it. I don't see I think the Pelicans are looking for something in return of that kind of caliber of player. And to be honest, numbers wise, I don't know if we could even keep Randall. Just money. On the money side of things, I think he would have to be traded. You know what I mean? And then, I think this is a 2-1 because they're either going to move on from Zion or, Randall would go somewhere else because I don't see Zion and Randall playing together.
So someone said this the other day, and I thought it was really interesting. I don't know who it was. Maybe it was Freezy. It might have been Freezy.
Yeah. But how do you keep those contracts? Because they're all up.
What do you think if, say, for example, with a Brandon Ingram? Because even with Brandon Ingram getting a pay raise, he's probably going to get another, somewhere between $7 to $10 million more. I don't think he would go too crazy and eclipse like 45. Like I think he would get like a 45 going up to maybe 50 at the final end of the thing, like somewhere around that could be 40, 45.
Scaling
yeah,
up,
scale. Well, I would think they will want to scale up with him
down.
because sometimes you don't want to scale down because that means up front they got to hit him with the high mark, and since he's a bigger name player, that's going to be a lot. So they might scale up with him because by that time we're talking 2 years. Randall could be out of here. Anything could happen, right? So,
but they're up at the same time though. That's the thing. Because remember, it's Brunson and Randall at the same year, and then would Ingram beat 2024?
No, he would be the same. Right? He would be the same year too. Yeah, you're right. So this is what the thought was. What if the Knicks just decided to switch around and change the dynamic of the team? Bring in a guy like a Brandon Ingram, right? So you're talking Brunson, Ingram, OG Anunoby. You re-sign him. Randall is still here. You let Hartenstein walk. You traded Mitchell Robinson to bring in Brandon Ingram along with Bogdanovic.
Oh, okay, I get you what you're saying.
Right? So now the $30 million that you got tied up in your centers is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you got a little bit more to play with, but you are a smaller team, so you're going to have to get some minimum, like some veteran bigs that are on a minimum contract, and possibly draft yourself a young center on a rookie contract.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, look, that's possible, man. Like I wouldn't look bad, man. To be honest with you, like you could probably sign Wiseman at a minimum.
You know
what I mean? Right? You could find a guy like that on the minimum who's kind of like, found his way out of almost finding their way out of the league. Or even a guy who has found his way out of the league. Like what was the gentleman's name that played against Brunson in the high school game? What's his name?
Okafor.
Like you could find his way back into the league. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even mind. I wouldn't mind them giving a look at Jabari Parker, who looks like he may want to be back in the league. You know what I mean? And in the backup row, like there's certain players out there that I wouldn't mind bringing back to the league just because, being away from it, you don't know what you have until it's no longer there for you. You know what I mean? So, you need guys who are going to come back and have an edge to them. You know what I'm saying? So. If I was a Knicks front office, I'm making some phone calls and seeing if they're willing to come back at a vet minimum. You know what I mean? Tie those guys in early.
I agree. It's definitely a lot of different ways you could look at it. Shout out to John Talento and Charlie Solomon. John Talento says draft Khalil Ware. He's a nice looking guy. I like nice looking player. Pause.
Yeah. Hey, Ron.
Yay. Whoa. Hey, now. Draft Zach Edey. He's another guy that would be interesting. It's all about if these guys are there, right?
Yeah.
And so, we're going to talk a little bit more about these guys next Monday because, the draft is on the 26th. So next Monday's show, unless we find out by that time that the Knicks have traded the picks, we'll talk about some of these people. And I hope that we can get a draft guru type guy or expert for next Monday's show, working on it. We'll see.
That'll be dope.
So, stay tuned, guys. We'll see what we got. Alex Isaac is in the building. He says, where does BI play on this team? Not a good fit. Don't see the Knicks doing that. Well, that's the thing. Like conventionally, it doesn't look like what you would typically see. And we're wondering how this would work. But we're looking at all these other teams that are doing things that are unconventional, like the Orlandos, like the Bostons. They're doing things a little differently. So we'll see how they because some people are saying, I was reading an article, was it last week, that teams might be looking at Boston as the new blueprint of how you should build your team. Right. So I don't know. We'll see.
Atlanta is going to be something to look forward to in the coming seasons because from what I understand, the NBA is going back to the big. Like they almost want to transition to the bigs again. So,
exactly.
If they're already, if the NBA is already talking about it, you might as well start, putting that schema together for your team because the Knicks are a small team, as fit today. Like we're heavy with the short tweener guys, like the guards that are like 6'3", 6'2". We got a lot of those guys.
Right, exactly. Shout out to our brother Jose in the building.
Paying it forward. Look at that. Look at
Thank
that.
you for the
Look at
super
that.
chat, man. Look at that. Look at you. He
Paying
says, SKF with Ron and John, I will be back soon, fellas. Much love. Yes.
Yeah. We can't wait, man.
Right. That's right. The three amigos shall rise again. La tres mosqueritos. We'll be back full strength soon, guys. Don't you worry. Appreciate you, Jose. I hope you're doing great, man. Kiss the little baby for both of us, man. Enjoy it. It's time. Enjoy it. It goes quick.
That's it. It goes fast.
Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to my guy Raymond Vega in the building. Salute, Raymond. What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. He is tuned in on Facebook. He's day one from the neighborhood too. Another day one. So shout out to you, my brother. Thank you to everybody tuned in. We got 52 people tuned in across all platforms. I know it's a little busy tonight because we got the NBA finals on, and but we appreciate you guys rocking with us. Smash that like button if you haven't already done so. It looks a little something like this. Yeah, so please hit that if you haven't already done so. Thank you guys. Raymond said we go back like Cadillacs. Facts. Deep Lock. He says what makes Boston so good is they play well together and they have a very high IQ as a whole team, and that's a great compliment to playing winning basketball. Another thing that makes Boston so good is they have dynamic players that have learned how to play together. Right. It's your point is they play well together, right? And which I understand, but it also took Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown some time.
Like 5 years together, right? 6 years together already.
Because remember, they would go up and down. One would get his, one would get hit. Sometimes one's like, this is Jason Tatum's team. They would talk, oh no, it's Jalen Brown's team now. Like it was all this stuff. They finally learned how to play together. It all goes back to shout out because I remember this. Shout out to Marcus Smart. It all goes back to when the Knicks beat Boston. That game where RJ hit the shot in Jason Tatum's face and Marcus Smart had that team-only meeting and was ripping the team in the media. Excuse me. Those two guys started playing better together ever since that point.
Right.
And it's just gotten better and better now that they have the other complementary pieces. Because Drew Holiday and Porzingis definitely round out that roster nicely. I still think the biggest addition is Derek White, but
I was about to say that Derek White, no slouch, to add there, to the IQ and the playmaking. He's also somebody, added player who can do a little bit of everything on the court. But also give props to Joe Mazzulla. Like he's really coached him up and has taken over for Udoka and has really he's solidified his time with his 1 year there. Like his second year, he's had him playing well. They were first in the entire season pretty much. They had the best record the entire season. They believe in what he has to say, and they are paying attention and playing for him. So shout outs to him. He seems like a strong temperament individual, right? Like someone with strong, a strong will and strong temperament, and he doesn't seem like he fools around a lot. And he wants his team to play a certain way, and they're doing that. So shout outs to him.
I mean, listen,
culture fit.
Exactly. As Knicks fans and maybe some other fans out there, Joe Mazzulla sometimes can come off in the press conferences as a little cocky or whatever, but that's his spunk. That's who he is, right? But I said it in the past that I watched his podcast with his wife, and his personality is like great. Like I would definitely, I haven't tuned in like to lock it in, but I loved watching them, bounce their conversation off of each other. They have a really good dynamic. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe there is something to this guy, right? And so shout out to my guy Raymond. He said, funny story. I went to high school senior year with Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla at Bishop Hendrickson in Warwick, Rhode Island, and even back then he was a genius. So you never know.
Something to be said.
There you go. So John, I don't know if you were able to take a look at this. Did you see Raymond Felton's comments?
No. What does Raymond have to say?
Oh, Raymond.
About what? Everybody knows Raymond. Everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah. This was a little quick thing. It's they asked him how he feel about this Knicks team going up against the Celtics. And this was his thoughts.
Meaning like
healthy,
if they were to, okay.
Healthy. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can bring this up here. Boom. All right.
Don't lose to Indiana if they're healthy.
They don't lose to Indiana. And I'm telling you, that Boston series, it may go 7.
Man, they may beat.
Oh, and that's Theo Pinson, by the way, for those who don't remember who that is. That's Theo Pinson, former Knick fame, the best 15th man ever. All right, let me get back to it.
And Theo could get buckets, though.
No, they don't lose to Indiana. And I'm telling you, that Boston series, it may go 7.
Man, they may beat them, period. Like, it may not even go 7. I'm just saying, though, Anunoby healthy. You got to think about it. Anunoby was out.
They had
Bogdanovic was out. He was out.
Randall out. Mitchell Robinson out.
That's what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
You talking about 4 dudes that can really start. Don't lose to Indiana.
All right, there you go. That's it.
Let's 4 dudes who do start. That's the thing. It's basically, you know what I mean? Because Mitchell Robinson did start. He lost the starting gig to Hartenstein, but he was a starter. Randall's a starter, and OG Anunoby's a starter. So, you know what I mean? Bogdanovic can play starter minutes, but, was coming off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, and he was averaging 20 points with Detroit. So,
yeah. Like, I wouldn't sit here and say it was an automatic win. I would say we would have given the Celtics a run for their money.
I agree.
For sure.
I would say the same thing, that if the Knicks, the only thing that I was willing to say is if the Knicks were fully healthy, they would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, hands down.
No without a doubt.
In my mind.
That was no doubt.
Right. And then the other thing is, I think they would have pushed Boston to a 6th or a 7th game.
Right.
I'm not saying if they would have won, but I do think they would have pushed them to a 6th or a 7th game. With that squad,
it would have been hell of an electric.
Oh yeah,
and why? Oh great. My God, bro!
You talking about playing in the Garden and then playing in the Garden? Oh man!
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing that the Knicks would have in their favor if everyone was healthy was our bench play, because that would have put Hart on the bench, coming off with Deuce and Mitchell Robinson with Bogey off the bench, because now you're looking at Brunson, Devo, OG, Hartenstein, and Randall as starters. So that bench play would have been extremely important. And we probably wouldn't have seen many minutes from Bogey, to be honest with you, because we know Tibbs likes to go 8. So you're really just seeing 3 off the bench, which would have been probably most likely Deuce, Mitchell Robinson, and Hart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean that's interesting, man. It's all this sucks because it's all this woulda, coulda, shoulda, and it's one of the most improbable things that I've seen being a sports fan of a team. I can't. Oh wait, no, that's not true. I did see it happen with the Mets. There was a year where the Mets were really good and everybody started to get hurt, and then you've personally seen it because that's the same story with the Yankees every year.
Yeah.
So so
true.
It's crazy. Yeah, man, that's nuts. Well, it is what it is, and that's just kind of one of those things that we're always going to talk about as fans of the team. We're going to be like, this could have happened if this would have, whatever. So just giving you guys a quick update.
Ron had flashbacks of what was his name? Elster getting hurt.
Kevin Elster. Wow.
Kevin Elster and Kevin McReynolds getting injured.
My God.
Same year. Well,
Talk
Hojo.
about dating yourself. This guy taking me back, man.
Howard Johnson.
Oh man, Mr.
I see
Mr.
you.
30-30. He was one of the
30-30.
only times that two players were 30-30 in the same
Yeah.
team in the same
Yeah.
year. Howard Johnson and Daryl Strawberry. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, all right, you got the trivia.
Now you only got one, Francisco Lindor. He's the only one who gives
no.
you 30-30 every year.
It's a shame. It's a shame. So that's kind of where that is, right? And just giving you guys a quick update, it is currently 82-64. Boston's up by 18 with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. It's
Right.
not looking good for Dallas.
It's
I'm just
over.
saying.
And your boy White just caught one to the mouth and lost his chitlin. Like he got a chip too.
Oh no!
So he ain't gonna be smiling during these or maybe he will because he got a chip. So he got a championship.
Damn, he caught the Nas wavy head chip teeth.
Yeah, he caught one.
Damn, man,
gonna be smiling in those pictures.
that stinks.
Yeah, man,
that stinks. And look, what did I say? See, this is what I'm talking about, John. This is the problem. Luka is 7 for 16, 43% from the field. He's 0 of 5 from 3. But I mean, whatever. He's got 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists.
Not enough.
And then Kyrie is 3 of 12, 1 of 6 from 3. He's got 9 points.
It's a poor game from both of those guys, man.
You can't do it. Can't do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's it, man. It's over.
Oh, don't forget Greg Jeffries. Yeah,
Greg Jeffries
swinging the bat underwater, man. That was a beast. Jeffries. He was one of the originals that did that stuff.
I was a Lenny Dykstra guy. Lenny Dykstra,
tough as nails.
Same kind of player.
Yeah. Tough as nails. So last thing I want to ask you before we get out of here is about OG Anunoby. Does it get done or does it get done?
I mean, it has to. If it doesn't get done, like that's crazy. Because like, what was the point of making the trade? This is the one thing I fear, right? And is that actually coming to fruition that the Raptors have an opportunity to sign up for max dollars, right? Because then you lose 3 players. You lost quickly. You moved on from Barrett, and now you lose OG Anunoby. Like you have to get a deal done for OG because he makes our team that much better, right? He solidifies our defense. You know what I mean? And if he's not here to do it, there's not too many other players in the league right now that we can look at and say he will fit right in to that degree. Like there's no one. You can't point to the guy. Like, you know what I mean? Not to that caliber. So I really do hope it gets done. I think that's the first ball to drop, to be honest with you. I think that's the first deal that needs to get done before thinking about anything else. So
also I gotta say, just to not to beat it
and re-sign Hartenstein. Like those two.
They said Hartenstein could get upwards of 50 to 60 million
wild.
more.
That's wild.
That's nuts. That is nuts.
That is wild. I mean, listen, man, more power to him, man. He played himself into this contract. Like, you got to give him props for that.
If he can get that money, man, listen, I
can't be mad at it.
I want him to turn it down, but I'm not gonna.
You can't be mad at that.
What am I gonna say?
Yeah, you can't be mad at that. You just, you just hope that the New York Knicks give him shit for it, like the players. Like, oh, you got that bag, you paying for lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you definitely got the dinner tonight. Something like
what
that.
We need to do, what we got to do as Knicks fans, the Knicks organization, what they need to do is most likely Dallas is going to get knocked out of here. They better start looking to poach some of these guys. You know what I mean? Go see if you can go poach Derek Jones, bring him over here. He'd be a nice fit for the Knicks. You know what I mean? Take a look at who they got over there that may not be like, oh, I don't know if it's going to work out over here long term in Dallas.
Right.
So we'll see, man. Listen, man, thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. It's been a great show. we're going to have a lot more to talk about as time goes by. It's so crazy because we're already talking about all of this stuff and officially haven't even hit the off season yet. Like the off season hasn't even begun yet. It's crazy.
Listen,
man,
it's our off season because the Knicks ain't playing. So
it's true. It's true. Once again, thank you to everybody tuned in across all platforms. Appreciate you, people on X, YouTube, and on Facebook. Please smash that like button if you haven't already done so. If you like the content and you're new, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you back, checking us out. And it's always fun talking about these Knicks because the one thing that people can't deny, even the haters, the Knicks are moving in the right direction.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's what matters. John, any final words, my brother?
Man, as always, love being on with you, Ron, when I can. Obviously, a lot going on at home, the family, the kids. My son's in tournament baseball right now. He's playing for a pretty solid team here upstate. Excited for him. So that's been where a lot of my time has been spent. And then my daughter's going to be starting softball this summer. So she's getting back to the groove of things too. So, sports dad here and, trying to do my best to stay afloat. So if you don't see me, it ain't because lack of trying. It's just I got other priorities. You know what I mean? So as always, stay blessed, stay healthy. Looking forward to the next one. And I'm out of here, man. Appreciate you all.
That's what they say. That's the belief system. God, family, and football. Oh, wait. Sorry. We're wrong. I was in a movie. Sorry, my bad.
God, family,
anyway.
Love it.
Anyway, man, thank you guys for being here as always. Shout out to everybody. Thanks to our brother from another, Mr. Jose, for the super chat popping in, letting us know that he will be back soon.
That's a fact.
We can't wait, brother. Good to see you. Thank you guys once again in the chat, everybody who's contributed to the show. Appreciate you guys. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still, Knicks fans, we'll be back again, whether it be on Monday nights for SKF Weekly at 9 p.m.-ish. Throughout the week, it's been a little spotty lately, but we will be, expect to be hearing from me doing an NBA wrap up this season. And possibly talk about the crowning of the Boston Celtics with another championship to their list. I got to tell you, just to talk about that real quick, I'm not happy that Boston's going to win, but I ain't going to lie to y'all. I don't hate Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown, and I am kind of happy that those guys get one because they are dynamic players. They're the future of the NBA, and that points to their greatness of the type of players they are. So it is what it is. I'm not happy that freaking Porzingis is getting one, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm done. I'm move on. And shout out to Drew Holiday because he gets another one, and he's a really good player. So it is what it is.
And he proves to the NBA and to teams how valuable it is to have a defensive first-minded player. Like, it's super key. And this could go down in history as one of the biggest lopsided trades. Dame, as good as he is not the defensive guy or player that Drew is, right? And even though he may have needed offense, which I think that was the complete, wrong decision. Like, it looks like top to bottom, you make poor decisions. From the moment they got rid of their coach that won the championship, was it Bodenhauser? From that moment,
right?
It just continue to make poor decisions. And I don't know if it has to do with Giannis wanting to, make noise in his own right, but this is why players can't be GMs, man, not when they're playing. This is partly why.
Yeah, there may be some truth to that. That was a questionable decision. It was funky. I don't know about that one. So yeah, check us out. We'll be here rocking on Mondays, and then I'll probably be doing a NBA wrap up on Thursday, and then definitely back again on Saturday for Know the Ledge when I talk you guys off the ledge, but you guys have been real good lately. I haven't had to talk anybody off the ledge. It's been good. We've been hanging in there, you know. So I think we're gonna. Well, although if I hear one more person tell me that we don't need Julius Randle on this team, I might have to I might have to lose it. It's okay to not want him on the team, but don't say we don't need him on the team.
That's an opinion, right?
24, 9, and 5, folks.
It's crazy, but it's an opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Just saying.
You know what opinions are like. Everybody got one.
Everybody got one. Yeah, that's a fact. Anyway, man, thank you guys for being here and rocking with us. It's it's another Monday night, and as I said, hopefully next week maybe we'll be able to get a draft expert with us to chop it up. The NBA draft is the 26th, which I believe is the following Thursday. So stay tuned. We're going to see what the Knicks do. And hopefully we get to learn. Hey, it's Quan. Hopefully we get to learn what's going to happen with Rokas Jokibitis' fate, because we still don't know what's going to happen with that young man. We'll see.
He's staying overseas. That kid ain't coming.
He might stay over there.
Yeah, I don't think we ever see his light. He knows to see the light of day. If anything, we trade him. We trade him for something. But I don't see him playing for the New York Knicks.
You could be right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope it works out. We'll see. Have a great night, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.